After game number 4, Tom Thibodeau went to the post-game podium and said, hey, now that we're down 3-1, we have to play the game, not the series. And I felt that. And I guess his team felt that because tonight in this game 5, they played the game, recognizing the stakes. Hey, if we lose this, our season is over. The Garden is jumping. You know, the fans recognize that coming back down 3-1 is really, really tough in this league and almost nearly impossible, but they didn't feel that. The crowd was electric, even though there were a couple like 8-0, 10-0 runs where they were like, oh, not again, not again. The crowd was electric. And the Knicks, this is the second time in the series where the defense was so smothering that I'm watching and thinking to myself, why the hell haven't they been able to do this more often in the series? Why do they need to be down 3-1 for this defense to be as handsy, as active as it was tonight? This was amazing. Not a single player on the Pacers or in their starting 5 had a good game. We're going to talk about Tyrese Halliburton's performance because how the hell he gave us a historic performance last game in game 4 where he put up numbers that nobody's done before other than Big O and Nikola Jokic. And then tonight gave us his absolute stinker. I think it was, I know it was Tim Legler, who's one of the best in the world at talking about this sport. He was asked about if you were Tom Thibodeau or so-and-so, what would you do differently defensively against the Indiana Pacers? And one thing he noted was he would pick up Tyrese Halliburton earlier, right? Instead of waiting until we get around the 3-point line or so on, or the hash, or instead of waiting until the end to start the defense, how about we start it up earlier? You know, the Pacers have been bringing 94 feet to Jalen Brunson pretty much every single game. The Knicks don't have the same personnel to be able to do that, but how about we pick them up around half court? How about we have them start their offense so early on or so high up that it makes it difficult for some of the other stuff to happen? And I thought today they did exactly that, where there was not a single thing that the Pacers did offensively that they felt or looked comfortable doing. So I don't know if what they did tonight is replicatable for game number 6 or game number 7, but at the end of the day, again, if you are Tom Thibodeau, you are not playing the series, you are playing the game. All you needed to do was win tonight. You know, even if it the defensive scheme doesn't work on Saturday, you only need it tonight. And then you worry about Saturday once you get to Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So the defense was one of the things. Even Reggie's on the call. And you know Reggie. You know who Reggie going for, you know what I'm saying? But even Reggie has to recognize how ridiculously good this defense was tonight. And it wasn't just good when it was Mitchell Robinson on the court. It wasn't just good when it was so-and-so, Karl-Anthony Towns on the court, no Brunson, or Brunson on the court, no Karl-Anthony Towns, in tandem. And it hasn't been the case in the series, where they even showed the on-off stats of Jalen Brunson. And I think we mentioned this a little bit after their last game. Somebody asked, like, what do I make of the on-off stats of Jalen Brunson? Tonight was one of the nights where it's like, our defense is playing so good right now, we can afford to do this and do that, and it was really respectable. The first quarter and the third quarter for Jalen Brunson, absolute masterclass. I mentioned this before, but I have the utmost amount of respect for a player like Jalen Brunson, and I'm talking about these supreme individual creators. Well, obviously, Jalen Brunson uses screens and so on and so forth to get an advantage, as everybody does in basketball. But if you are defending Jalen Brunson, you have to nearly be perfect to get a stop. The footwork is elite for somebody that's 6 foot. He's using his body and his lack of size to his advantage, drawing fouls. He's able to play through contact and finish plays and ones. I know there's conversations around him and Shea and the way they get whistles. That shit has never mattered to me. It's an art form, what Jalen Brunson is able to do at that size. And the and ones in the first quarter and the third quarter, absolute masterclass for Jalen Brunson, for him to end up with 32, 5, and 5 with 81% true shooting. And I thought he competed defensively tonight, which again is all you can really ask for Jalen Brunson. This was a superstar performance, recognizing the stakes. And I don't know the stats, but I feel like Jalen Brunson is so damn good in closeout games. I'm going to see if I can look it up right now, because I don't know. Maybe I'm bugging. Obviously, he ain't got no NBA championship, so he's played in a couple closeout games that didn't go his way. But I just feel like he's been able to just win and play really good in closing games. But that's just me. That's just I test Kenny Beecham. First closeout game of the postseason against Detroit, he had 40. I remember that one. The last one against Boston, he had 23. So maybe not his best performance, but damn it, he shot 57% from the field. And then tonight, it's not a closeout game for them, but an opposing team closeout. Again, just rising to what his team needs. Karl-Anthony Towns, also amazing on tonight. As much as I love Karl-Anthony Towns as a shooter, I love him more when he is using that big burly body to his advantage, because Karl-Anthony Towns, as clumsy as he can look at times on the court, has a mesh of a big ass body, but also a foot speed that he should not have. So just putting his head down, getting to the basket, finishing through contact. He had 5 free throws tonight. I felt like he should have had more. That's how much contact he was drawing on his drives and using that size. Josh Hart, something's happened in these last 2 games where Josh Hart has had butterfingers and just turning the ball over a little bit more. But Mitchell Robinson gave them a couple stretches, and I'm actually surprised that we are this far into the series and we're still getting Mitchell Robinson 11-minute spurts in the first quarter. Because by minute number 7 or 8, the man is gassed, hands on his hips. And I'm just surprised the Pacers didn't take advantage of that more in this game. But he had a stretch in the third quarter before they went to Hakamich, where he was on the glass, he was finishing stuff. And like, there were a few times where the Pacers did go on like an 8-0 run, 7-0 run, and you can hear a pin drop in the guard because like game number 1 again. No, not tonight. Because they were able to match those runs with their own runs. So this is amazing game for the New York Knicks, and they continue to have this series can be elongated, if you will. Now, on the other side of things, let's talk about from the Pacers' perspective. We got Siakam, poor game. We have Tyrese, poor game. I felt like every single TJ McConnell turnover was very important to for the Knicks tonight. We're like, oh, we got a little run going. TJ McConnell leaves his feet, and only a few people can leave their feet and successfully pass the ball. TJ usually is one of those guys. Not tonight. Miles Turner in 24 minutes, 5 points. Nembhard getting fried on the defensive side of the ball and only scoring 6. So Tyrese Haliburton gave us a performance last game. Was legitimately legendary to go up 3-1. And for him to do this tonight, he just didn't adjust as fast as I thought he would have in a game like this. Like I mentioned how Tyrese Haliburton is climbing up that list of becoming supercomputers. And, you know, there's still guys at the top like a Braun, like a Luka, like a Jokic, and, you know, you can name the other people that you might fit into this category. When I talk about supercomputers, I'm talking about people that process the game at a whole nother level that are 2 to 3 steps ahead. And typically that is Tyrese Haliburton. I thought today kind of showcases why he's just not at the level of those other supercomputers. Because those other supercomputers be like, okay, they're doing this possession. Like we've seen Luka Doncic play a team in the Minnesota Timberwolves last year, where on a possession-by-possession basis, they were hedging, they were dropping, they were doing just doubling on pick and rolls. They were doing everything. And it felt like Luka Doncic was able to pinpoint exactly, whether it be a damn tail that Rudy Gobert was given on defense for him to know, oh, they're about to blitz this. Oh, they're about to hedge this. Oh, they're about to play drop. And he took advantage again, being 1 or 2 steps ahead. And Tyrese didn't do that tonight. And actually, Tyrese Haliburton got 2 feet into the back. I can't wait to rewatch part of this game. He got his 2 feet into the paint a few times, and you wouldn't be able to know based on his final stat line. Because I felt as though once he did end up getting those 2 feet into the paint, everybody else stayed home. The Knicks decided, like, we're just going to chill out. And if Reese wants to go up with that layup, he can have a layup. And he never went up to try to finish those buckets. And instead, he was jump passing and just getting it out to reset the offense. When he had the offense, he had 2 at the rim. He had it right there. And everybody else just stayed home to prevent it from being a super explosion Aaron Nesmith game or Nembhard hitting 4 threes or whatever. This was one of the few games in the series where I thought the Knicks played their game. Like the Pacers have been leading the series, not just in the total amount of wins in the series, but having the Knicks adjust to them. And tonight, I felt like they did a poor job of actualizing their true identities that they've showed us over the course of this playoff run. And the Knicks were like, no, this is who we are. And I think that's interesting. No idea what's going to happen in game number 6. This playoff series or the playoffs in general have been as unpredictable as any playoff I've ever really covered. So I'm just excited to see, okay, what will Rick Carlisle do next as this team that has lost every single game 3 of the postseason so far always came out in game number 4 and just were better than game 3 and made the necessary adjustments. Now we're seeing them lose a game outside of game 3, and we'll see if they'll adjust for game number 6. Or will the Knicks be able to go into Indiana and win a game again? Regardless of what happened, I am fully seated, and it's getting my full attention. It's just super excited. Shout out to Benedict Mathurin, 2nd game in a row where he gave them really good value. He's putting so much pressure on the rim, getting to the basket, and finishing through contact and everything. So we got Jarius Walker, which I thought was pretty cool. And Johnny Furphy played at the end of this game. So shout out to Johnny Furphy, who we interviewed when he was coming into the draft, and he walked into the room, and I was like, who's this teenager walking into this room? Oh, he's going to be in the NBA? Damn. All right. Shout out to the Knicks. Keep the series alive, baby. We'll be watching.